was a shock to find out that we're $400,000, is that right? $400,000 short? Still employed? Pardon me?
Yeah.
About
The
400,000 short?
last treasurer's report we have still has something like $1.6 million or
Yeah,
$1.6 or $8 million in the water fund account. Restricted funds for the water and street improvements, and if I remember correctly, the water tower was about 1.8 million, 1.7, 1.8 million of that. So the money still is there for the water tower. It hasn't been built, but it's there, and we're paying off that bond.
So then why is he saying it's not?
We have not missed a bond payment. We've refinanced a few. We have not missed any payments. And I think the audit that we just completed was for the fiscal year that ended 2013. So right before Mayor Ryback took office, they're working on the audit for the final year. But to your question, John, as Don said, the reports we were given and the
You
audits,
guys just went all off the reports.
and the audits that were completed showed that we had the money, the restricted monies were available to pay those bonds. Most of our bonds are covered with sales tax, and by law, we have to pay those first, and whatever's left from the sales tax dollars, can go into the village fund. But the reports we received from the treasurer and the audit reports said
Showed
we
all
had
the money there.
had the dollars there.
So are those people still employed by the village? The people that put those reports together?
There was a village manager that drove around in Navigator, Land Rover, sorry. That we paid for the gas that lived in Naperville. And tires.
Mayor, I'm sorry to keep beating this up, but Billy, if we did find out that those monies were taken out of the restricted fund and used not for what they were supposed to be put aside for, is that a criminal offense that can be investigated and charged?
But unfortunately, I'm not a criminal attorney, so I'm not really comfortable answering that question. I don't know that answer specifically, because I don't practice criminal law. Whether it's illegal or not, it's not what the bonds were.
I just figured it was something in finance that it would, you have to know what you're not gonna go to jail for.
Right.
So saying that you were on the water board and you were supposed to give them a report saying that, this money's here and it's not
It's like
there.
falsifying a document.
Yeah, is that some kind of something illegal?
It could be. I mean, it really depends.
And
It's not so cut and dry.
who can we employ or find to help us investigate this?
I'm going to intervene for a second here because
Yes,
two things.
Chief.
Number one, Brett, I spent the last 5 years of my career with the Illinois State Police and
Right.
White Collar Financial Crimes.
Use the microphone.
Use
We
the
can't hear you.
microphone.
I can't hear you, Vince.
That I spent the last 5 years with the Illinois State Police and White Collar Financial Crimes. There is no entity going to pursue a municipality for shifting funds from one account to another account. The crime comes in when the money from a municipality used for private purposes. That's not the case here.
So like if he would've took the money and put an addition on his
Like
house?
bought a boat, whatever, yes, sir.
Okay.
That's the case. That hasn't been done
As long as
here.
it stayed in the village, it's fine.
It stayed in the village, it got put under a different line item, whatever. That happens all the time in municipal government, so nobody's going to jail. And it's
I
not
don't know, somebody
misappropriation.
needs to,
Pardon me?
somebody needs to figure out where it went.
It went to the expenses of the village. It didn't disappear, it didn't go away. The village used the money to pay bills. That's the bottom line. Don't forget, folks, one thing. This village existed from 1982 to 2012 on revenue generated from property taxes of between $50,000 and $60,000 a year. Figure it out if you got your little calculators with you, how much that is. I'll
I
save
don't
you.
know, but I know if I get a pay cut,
You were
cut
getting,
my
you were getting,
expenses.
you were getting the advantage to that. You were getting the advantage to that. Every resident in this town got the advantage to that. And that's what they had done for a lot of years.
I don't know, they raise everything every time you turn around. They're raising either our water, they're raising taxes, they're raising something.
That's the way it
Globally,
is
they raised
today.
the water, that was Chicago.
That's Chicago, yeah. By and large, that's
I'm gonna
Chicago.
tell you what, I don't think it's all Chicago.
I work for another town, and I hear the same.
It's primarily Chicago, and it's coming in January, just so you know, it'll be another 15%. So get ready for that one.
Well, pretty soon you have a bunch of empty houses here and then you can worry with it.
Well, it'll be beyond us. It'll be beyond us. It's all over. It's not particular to Midlothian.
Yes.
So let me get this straight. You say you still have $1.7 million in the bank for the water? For the water loan that you have?
Water.
The water
The
bond?
water
So
tower.
what,
Okay, so if that water tower is not being built, why are we paying interest on money that we have sitting in the bank? Why aren't we giving that money back to the bank and not paying interest on that $1.7 million? Because I'm sure that's gonna knock off quite a bit of interest at the end of the loan.
I don't think the board's decided to not build the water tower, but I would.
Maybe they need to.
How long has it been sitting in there? I mean,
It's been sitting in there since 2010.
so we've been paying interest on $1.7 million that, as of right now, we have no intention of using because the water tower's not being built. They can't use that money to pay off other bonds, they can only use that money to pay off the water bond, but still, it would pay down the water bond. If we're not building the water tower now or anytime soon, we don't have the funds to do it now anyway. So why pay interest on money that we're not using?
It's not making any in the bank.
Yeah, the interest we're paying on the money is more than the interest we're earning on the money. So,
well, we're still hopeful we're still hopeful getting to pay to build a water tower. The water tower was an important part of this whole water infrastructure program.
thank you for the suggestion. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board about the levy hearing? If not, at 8:29, I will call for a closing of the hearing. Did I have a motion to close the hearing?
I'll make the motion.
Need a second. Roll call?
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Schiavone.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Killaloe.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Okay. Now, at 8:30, I would like to call the special meeting for the Village of Midlothian to order. Roll call. Okay.
Trustee Gillis.
Here.
Trustee Killaloe.
Here.
Trustee LaRue.
Here.
Trustee Maskell.
Here.
Trustee Schiavone.
Here.
Mayor Ryback.
Here. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, I will open up the floor to public comment. If anybody has anything else they'd like to add.
I have a question.
Yes.
Katie, Keeler Avenue. A couple months ago, I believe when trustee Schiavone was out on his medical leave, there was a vote that the board took that would allow trustees to vote remotely on a vote if they were not able to attend the board meeting for that particular day. Earlier in the prior meeting, trustee LaRue read a statement from Karen Kreis in which she specifically stated that she was against the repeal of the tax ordinance. So my question is, since she has stated that in a letter and she was not able to attend today, will that count as her vote towards the vote today, this evening?
I actually have this set up in case she was going to phone in. She said she might phone in. I had this purposely set up so she could be here remotely. No, her vote would not count, but I need a 4/5 or 5/6 majority to get the tax ordinance repealed. So, no, her vote would not count. And yeah, since she's not here, it would essentially count as a no. Anyone else? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment. And at this point, I would be looking for the approval of ordinance repealing ordinance 1-5-20, parentheses A. No motion? No motion, it dies. The next business I have on my agenda is the approval of the 2014 levy ordinance. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call? Yeah. Discussion.
Just want to be very clear that we are passing a levy, or approving a levy that only has a 1.5%. That is statutory limit that we are allowed to.
Absolutely.
And we are not considering the abatement ordinance this evening.
No, we are
It's not
not.
on the agenda.
Correct.
And if we did pass the levy as presented tonight, then we would be possibly not getting our tax levy, but definitely we would be in violation of our bond covenants for 2010 and 2013.
Correct. We'll do the abatement ordinance another night.
This levy is basically the same levy as 2010, because my question, why I'm asking is, I see some things in here that really don't belong in here anymore. One of them would be on page 5, 6221, Silver Standard wages, $300,000. I mean, we haven't used that, I don't see us ever using that, so I mean,
These numbers are based off the appropriation, Jerry, so that must have been a number on the appropriation ordinance, and that's where these numbers come from.
okay, when do those numbers come off?
The levy portion is the last column.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only at the second column is what we're levying for.
Okay.
These are expenditures, this came straight off the appropriation ordinance.
Okay.
And this is basically last year's,
Appropriations.
yeah, last year's appropriations, and also this is last year's standard levy document with the 1.5% increase on it. Roll call on the approval of the ordinance. Levy ordinance.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Scavone.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. At this time, if there's no other further business, I would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.